whatever that person is missing in that other relationship, right? Let's say sex, right? And that's what I'm providing for this human being from, good times, sexual good times. I don't know. There is emotional connection in that. Souls are intertwined. Like sex is deeper than that, especially when you know how to have sex.
Oh,
And that's deep. That's why I'm like, even if that person is just seeking sex from this other person, there's stuff happening through those transactions.
today's episode is a little, we were a little soulful, episode 1. Now we getting a little sazon. We throw in a little razzle dazzle. We getting a little spicy. But our podcast is also about talking about things you don't normally talk about on a day-to-day, especially, again, in our culture. And we wanted to just throw a couple of things in there to put our 2 cents into something that logically can make sense, but people don't like to talk about it because it's not always the right thing.
Culturally, and I think not only culturally is not the right thing, but also like faith-wise, whatever your faith is. So religion-based too, right? I think that will play to it. And let's talk about it, right? Because I think that's why people are like, oh, what is that?
Yeah, so we're answering the question of what if we add something to the relationship menu? What does it mean when we say add something to a relationship?
You're adding something. It's probably because you're missing something.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I kind of like Southern relationships. So
Right.
But I will say, I do have a lot of friends, right? I have a big circle of friends. I have a lot of male friends, female friends, friends that are married, friends that have been in a relationship for a long time, male friends that have cheated since the inceptions of their marriage. And like, I have all types of friends. And I think that when I hear relationships or couples or anybody versus man or woman saying, I can see why they would want to step out on the relationship or something's missing. Like, yeah, she's great, but she doesn't do this. Or he's awesome and he just lacks this, but he's so great. He's giving me, the big 80% or, so much, but he's missing something. Like, so do I not leave him, right? Because he's so great. Like, are you stupid? Or she's awesome. So do I just kind of fix it and find the 20%, 30%, or maybe there's not even a percent. It's just a feeling, an emotion to just kind of put a Band-Aid on the real issue,
Well, the question that came up for me when you said that is, when something is missing, does it necessarily mean something is broken? It could be missing, and I think we get into other territory of like
broken, but the flavor's lacking. Because sometimes the person is great, but what if they're just not as sexual as you would want them to be?
Yeah. And I think there's this like whole idea of like finding someone that looks good on paper, right? Like finding someone that has all the things you want to check off. In episode 1, we were talking about finding that right partner and feeling like whether we were ready or not. But a lot of times we don't even know really what we're ready for because, again, we haven't done that work on ourselves. So we try to find the partner that we think we need, right? Because on paper they look good. Not to say that that's wrong, but what if you were happy in your relationship? Like you wanted that person, but maybe in one area that you decided to be flexible around or like be a little bit more generous around and not be so like, I need this. What if you found that connection in another person in another area that's not in your relationship?
I believe that I can see and understand how a person is with somebody for a certain amount of time and they completely love this individual. And this person, whether it's female, male, whatever, feeds your spirit. You can't see life without this person. I have great times.
You get the soul.
And the sex is good, Perhaps I would want more of it. Or maybe I want more connection because the sex is great, but there's no depth. So whatever is missing, whether it's the sex or the depth, go and find that connection with another human being. And I believe that you can connect with that other human being for whatever's missing that this other human being has.
Well, yes. And I just think about, let's keep it real, right? We all get married.
And I don't think that, I think that once you're married, it's bad. Like, oh, now they're cheating.
Yeah.
But when you're single, it's like.
But that's what I was going to say, though. Like, let's think about it. You get married, late 20s, early 30s is the average age for someone to get married. I believe I just saw this actually in an article. I think the average age to get married right now is like 28, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, she gon' clarify. But talking about it, so late 20s, early 30s, you're really sitting here and telling me, and I'm speaking on from the married level. I already went to courthouse last year, but do you really think when you take that vow of like it's you forever, do you really think that you are never, ever again going to feel connected to another individual in some way, shape, or form? And the way that in episode 1, I was talking to you guys about me and my husband having all types of conversations. And this is one of them because it's curiosity, it's human being behavior. And I think we're both agree on the idea of we choose each other every day. So I think that's really where it is, right? It's we both know that there may be a connection with another person to a certain extent. However, how far you take it, that's on you and your relationship and your partner and what you guys agreed on and what you guys didn't agree on, right? But am I going to be oblivious and say that I'm never going to feel connected to somebody else for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. I just think that that's just not real.
All right. Well, to ask your first question, and I guess that, but then that steps into a lot of like, eso es falta de respeto.
That's what I'm saying. As long as it's cool with your partner.
So you got to have like massive open communication.
100%. 100%.
First, the marriage thing. The median age of your first marriage in the U.S. is around 30 years old for men. Oh, shout out to producer. And 28 for women.
So I was right.
All right. Okay. So then I'm so compelled to ask how many of those marriages succeed, right? Or
that's a whole other episode, sis. That's a whole other episode.
But you're saying you could see people connect and all that, and I get that. Now, if you're married, right? And you do that, and now you discuss this, is this other thing that you're getting, is it deeper than just what you're getting superficial? Meaning, damn, I wish my husband fucked me more, yo. Like he ain't stepping up. He not doing what I want him to do. This other dude been lusting for me for mad long. I know he gonna throw it down. Right? So is it the lusting?
Is it the soul or is it the sazón? Is it the soul or is it the sazón?
Is it that I'm missing, or am I not tapping into the real problem? Like, is there a deeper problem than the sexual connection, the desire of wanting penetration? Like the real talk, right? Like the need of the flesh. Is it more than that? Because then if it's more than that, then we're doing everybody an injustice. You, me, the dude that's doing the slow stone slowly.
Not the slow stone. Okay, not the. She did the air
and all of that, you know.
Si yo te agarro.
I'm just scared of that, like that part, because then we're back in the therapy.
I think there's a couple aspects to this. I think first and foremost, there needs to be communication, 100%. Like, so my degree is in marriage and family therapy. My husband loves that. I'm being sarcastic. But one of the things I tell hubby all the time is we need to have open communication. So that's number one, right? We already discussed how we both feel about these things, da-da-da-da. Then it comes to how open are you? How available are you to try new things, right? Then there's that aspect to it.
Available to
between just the two of us.
Sexually, emotionally.
All types. Like my husband did not feel like he had space to have a voice as a child growing up. He grew up with a lot of strong women, strong charactered women. He ended up with me, which isn't really much different, but it is a healed, strong charactered woman, right? That's the difference.
To have his opinion.
Where we've had arguments about me giving him the space and him not using it, and I kind of encourage him to go, right? So there's also that of like making sure there's communication about talking about these things. And how do you feel? Where do we stand? How open are you to try new things? Don't feel like forgetting about the whole what you should be okay with, what you shouldn't. Forget that. Like, I could care less about that. Another thing that I live my life on is there is no good or wrong. There is what works for you and what works for another person. That's it. So if me and my husband are talking and we're like, okay, this works for me, does this work for you? And you don't agree, or we find a happy medium, that's between us. And
that might be seasonal, Pam. What works for you, I don't know if that's gonna work long term.
I think those are the conversations that I've had with the people that wouldn't even put themselves in that predicament. So they're open to wanting to try something, but they wouldn't even put themselves in that predicament for the simple fact of, what if we try something, one person doesn't like it, one person likes it a little too much, and now we're in like unknown territory. Now we just like stepped into something that we should have never even gotten into to begin with, because now the curiosity is there. So that's also a whole other factor to that.
So why add it?
Exactly.
Why add it to the relationship? I don't know if the dynamic of us as human beings, right? So there's the religion aspect of it. I understand. Whatever faith, right? There's a God that you serve, right? Whoever your God is, there's someone you believe. And whatever story they have, right? I'm sure that I'm going to talk about my story, that when Jesus Christ died on the cross, he died for you and me, and he created man and woman so they can come together and create this family, right? They nowhere in the Bible he said he created man and woman, and then the husband had a little bit of this and a little bit of that and and all this other stuff. So then it becomes.
But also, didn't they have multiple wives or multiple women?
Right. So then there's that, right? So then you believe that, right? There's back in the day there was this man that had but the story is the man had mad wives.
And the wives ain't had mad men.
But the one.
Let me take a drink of water to that.
La injusticia. Right? Okay, so that's fine, I guess. So it existed. But I can see that's why marriage to me is, there's a religion aspect to it. You get married through the law, right? Because there's a legal tie to it, right? We are legally bound to each other. Your shit is my shit is your shit, now it's everybody's shit, right? And then there's this religion. We're going to get married through this church, whatever your church is, right? Your faith. So you're also tied to that faith. Otherwise, you would even propel to make it to the church. The legal thing would be just sufficient for you. So you make it to the church, you're going to believe whatever the church's rules are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting married to the ultimate rule.
Well, do you have to believe every single thing? There's this level of extremity that I think my husband and I we're on the same page about. Like, we pick up what serves us from different aspects, right? So there's the therapy portion. It's not all therapy though, right? So there's a therapy portion of, we pick up what works for us that we've learned in therapy, and we drop what doesn't serve us anymore, or what doesn't serve us that we hear in that room. Same thing with religion, right? We just completed our course, getting ready to get married in the church. There were some things that actually made our relationship better. But there were some things that were like, me and him looked at each other and we were like, you not good with me? That's not good. Yeah, okay, we on the same page. Like, that didn't serve us, right? And that, I really do think that that's what life is about. It's about picking up what serves you and dropping what doesn't serve you. However, other people may think that that's not the right way. Other people might think that's disrespectful to whatever religion you're a part of. But I just feel like we're liberal enough to understand that there's a difference between ideal and reality. Ideally, we would follow a certain path exactly how we want to. But realistically, I don't think that's always the situation, which is why we get into crazier territory of like affairs and secrets and things like that, because we don't know how to speak up, or we don't know, we're not on the same page, or exactly. Because what's missing doesn't necessarily mean another person. Don't get it twisted. Like, we're not talking necessarily just about adding another person. We're talking about adding a thing, adding a new idea, adding an outfit, adding a wig, like adding little things to just spice things up.
So that brings me to the next topic, which says that sometimes is not the person. Like, before you add another person, emotion thing, right? Do you explore role playing, your own fantasies?
Right.
If it's that, do you explore more open communication? Because maybe it's not a sexual thing that's missing. Maybe it's more deep rooted. right? Conversations.
100%.
Or because everybody's missing something, right? Some
Mhm.
people are missing the emotional connection. Some people are missing the physical. Some people are just missing being understood, heard, seen, or whatever, right? People are all complicated when you mad different shit. Like, so
Mhm.
you're trying to figure that out. But there's also, I don't know, like you gotta talk about it because, man, there's so many husbands that I know that are like, she's great, or so many wives that I know like he's awesome, but shit is this thing, and there's always this thing, and I'm like, are we always in search for this thing, whatever this thing mean, or is the thing us?
Mm. Do we believe, though? I'm a firm believer that every year that we get older, we become a different version of ourselves. So, also, what served us in our relationship last year, 4 years ago, isn't necessarily going to serve us this new year, which is, again, it comes back to communication, right? How have you felt in the past year? My husband said, oh, but I know I was okay with it before, but I'm no longer okay with it. I have to hear him out. I'm doing life with him. So it's like, I also have to understand, like, a lot of people put this pressure of like, we've always done this though. Like, we've always been cool with this. We've never said that this was okay. But we're turning into different we're evolving.
What changes like
constantly.
people say.
Exactly. We have a hard time with change. And when someone even wants to let's keep it real. We all have the curiosity to not necessarily do something, but we've all questioned, even in growing up in our identity, what we liked, what we didn't like. So that aspect of curiosity isn't necessarily the bad thing. The bad thing is that when your partner says they're curious about something, immediately we're so quick to think there's something wrong with us. And that's why we start getting defensive. What you mean you want to, so what's going on? So you don't like it, so you don't want to be in this relationship anymore. So I'm not enough for you anymore. Whoa, hold up. Is that really what your person is saying? And again, that comes back to, are you really healed as a person before you get into this relationship, or are you not healed? Because then you're going to be putting things on yourself that don't really have to do with you.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's say you talk and you have open communication, and you say, I missed this, I missed that, whatever it is you miss. And you have this conversation with this person, and you both decide, well, fine, I'm going to go get this 30%. I'm going to put 30%, right? And I would hate to put a percent because I don't think it's a percent, it's an emotion. I'm going to go get whatever I'm missing over here from Samantha.
Damn, Samantha. Come on. I thought you were going to say like Yarislani or something.
Jubel. That's the classic. All right, well, my name was a little jacked up, so. So I'm gonna go get whatever I'm missing from Juju, right? And I'm gonna go get what I emotionally need from, Peter. And you go seek this thing. And you guys, like, how does that work? That's why.
I just think, like, I don't know. I guess when I hear you say I'm going to get the emotional thing from Juju, that kind of sounds like that's the issue for me. Like,
But what if that's what you're missing?
Right,
but it's not always.
But I also feel like if you're not emotionally and vulnerably connected with your partner that you choose every day, again, this is personal. This is why I love these type of topics, because I love hearing people's perspective. But I also feel like maybe this was because my personal choice. My non-negotiable when I started dating again after my 6.5-year relationship was I need someone emotionally available. And that's why for me, I can't imagine that the person that I choose every single day of my life not being someone I connect with emotionally, personally. That's just me. So I feel like when I hear adding something to the menu, it's like.
So to you, it can't be emotional. But
yeah.
What if
and I guess that's why it was like, I don't really know. Like when you said, how does that work? I actually don't know how that works. So maybe when we are ready to have guests in this show, we could sit there and bring somebody that found something emotionally with somebody else and their partner was okay with just giving them the other stuff. But I just feel like in order for you to live your day to day, And what I mean by emotionally is just like you can have conversations. That person is doing life with you, so they're talking to you about anything and everything. You need to have some sort of emotional intelligence and emotional availability for you to be there for someone in every aspect. Like I think that's what makes it hard for me to think about it in that sense. Like I feel like if I'm missing emotional connection with someone, that's probably not my partner for life. That's probably someone that I could get something from, but it's not my partner for life. But maybe that's why me and you can envision that, because none of us can really relate to that. I mean, I don't do. Can you relate to that?
Well, I've never been. I have been the other person, right, for another, human.
Mm-hmm.
I think every girl, I don't know if every woman has gone through this, but I've gone through that role. And I think that what I realized, and in playing that role, let it be clear that I never took the assignment when I was under a relationship, right? If I ever became somebody's side person, it was because I was single and decided to do that. There is some, whatever that person is missing in that other relationship, right? Let's say sex, right? And that's what I'm providing for this human being from, good times, sexual good times. I don't know. There is emotional connection in Pam. Souls are intertwined. Like sex is deeper than that, especially when you know how to have sex.
Oh, okay.
And that's deep.
That is deep.
And that's why I'm like, even if that person is just seeking sex from this other person, there's stuff happening through those transactions.
You know what I think of is in working with couples in my career, I really come to realize that so many affairs aren't even about their partners not caring about their partners. It's not about the love being different. It's not about you going out of love. It's about you not feeling safe enough to speak up when something is not working, or you being okay with something, or feeling like you'd be okay with that person not having this. And then throughout the years, you realize maybe I do feel like I want it more than I thought I did, but I can't bring it up because I don't feel safe enough to have these conversations. Most of the time, the issue is with that person. Like, the issue isn't even about falling out of love or that person not doing enough. The issue is there's not enough vulnerability to have conversation, to say, let's try something new. There's some people that would never even entertain it. So the minute you even bring something up that's not working, they again immediately say, okay, so this is not working out. So then, so what you want to do? So you stay with the kids and you want to get a divorce? Like, and it's like, damn, like, bro, like we need to be a little bit more open to have these conversations, right? Like, and it's not always about you, sis. Bro, like it's not always about you. Maybe that person is battling an inner demon, like that they didn't think was gonna come up. And then it came up, like for them. Like it could have been something that they lived through with their parents and they thought they were healed from. And throughout the years, they realized, damn, like I'm really not as healed as I thought. So a lot of times it's like open your mind and your perspective that it's not even about you sometimes. And that's where I think
So
the
then why
side situations.
go into the relationship if you're not there yet, but I mean, most humans are not there yet, but we're all here trying to figure it out.
Or we all get into relationships to fulfill different things. Some people are in relationships because they can't be alone, not because they ended up with the partner they wanted, because they love companionship and that was the closest they had to a companion. Some people feel like my time is ticking, so es el mejor que tengo for the time that I'm at. That's the best bet.
For having all these like different types of friendships, right? Female, males. I feel like some females also want, I don't know, like a lot of girls complain he's not emotionally connected. There's no compassion or love or like, some form of an emotion, right? And for the man, it's like, yo, she's not like, as sexy. She's not as catering. Like, yo, she used to suck my dick right away. Like, whatever. Like, now it's like, I got to beg photos of my dick. Like, and I'm like, damn, like, that's tough time.
Lordy Lord.
But then on the woman's defense, she's like, well, I don't want to suck his dick. Like, I'm tired of this cooking and this cleaning and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And then there's this other stuff that he's not doing, which is why it's causing her to not do the stuff that he wants. So I'm like, I guess more open conversations, everybody kind of, talks about it, then we talk about the real root. But I do believe that it's hard. I could see why. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna tap too much into, but I could see why some people are open to the whole polygamy concept or adding something else, or because I don't know, man, I could see people loving two people at the same time.
There's never going to be,
That is what I'm trying to say.
right. I think what it comes down to is your negotiables versus your non-negotiables, right? So if your part, ideally you choose a life partner that fulfills a lot of your non-negotiables, right? The things you're negotiable about are things that you're truly flexible around. That if that person doesn't have that, although you would want that, if that person doesn't have that, it's not a deal breaker. So I feel like that's where we get into that territory, right? When your partner ideally fulfills a lot of these non-negotiables, but then there's some negotiables that they didn't have, but you're like, I really miss it. Like yes, I'm flexible around it, but maybe throughout the years I realize I'm not as flexible. Like I need that now. And now that partner can't give that to me.
But what if you tell him that that's what you need?
What if I tell him?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's where the openness comes in, right? Like let's go to the store together. Let's, have some conversations. And again, for me, it's like bringing a third person. To me, I'm just like, listen, I already have a hard time staying on top of my husband. Like, it's not even about the whole polygamy thing. I don't have a problem with people being in whatever they want to be in. But for me, I'm just like, yo, the effort that it takes to love two people at the same damn time, like, that's a lot. So I'm just like, it's not even before I'm talking about bringing in a third person, like just being open to trying new things, switching it up. But then if that's still not enough, it's like, you need to understand the effort that is required to hear somebody's needs, fulfill somebody's needs to the extreme. Because the same way you're calculating your partner's things is the same way that person is probably holding you accountable, that third person. And you got to fulfill two different people. You got to be on top of two different people. It's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. Not to say that it doesn't work. It just takes a lot of effort. So I feel like what we think we're fulfilling might just be adding a little too much, right? Some people think they want a 5-course meal because it sounds pretty, but then they start getting full by the third round and they're like, damn, was I even prepared for these 5 courses? Because now I'm full.
Well, now I want to talk about a bit of this, right? Because I think you asked me this the other day. You was like, what are you willing to sacrifice in a relationship? Or for you?
Honey.
And I think when you first said that, I was like, yo, sacrifice? Yo, I envision literally Jesus Christ dying on the cross.
Oh my God.
Wow, sangre coming down. Like,
Lord.
the maximum sacrifice. I'm like, damn, all that for the dick? And I don't mean just like sex, right? This is not that. I mean, all that for a relationship, right? That's what I envision. But clearly, that's when I hear sacrifice, I think of so much has to be given of you to receive this love, right? So I think as crazy as I brought me to Christ and to that vision, I think that's how emotionally it is. What are you emotionally willing to sacrifice to accept this love, right? From this person that's still probably not 100% healed, still is evolving, still is becoming, still is dealing with their life, every ups and downs and, everyday shit, right? So it is sacrificial. And I think a lot of us fail to realize like some of you is lost in the process. Now, not perhaps who you are at your core, because you never want to lose that. But it's hard because then you bring on children, you bring on all this, you bring on the dynamics of everything. It's so much easier to just go seek ease somewhere else instead of dealing with what you have to sacrifice, what you have to work on. I don't know, Pamela. It's tough.
I think there's so much that comes down to self-identity. I really think, because if we were more self-aware of our needs, we would make better choices, better, well-rounded choices, and we wouldn't be in certain predicaments. Not to say that, again, you could be very self-aware, you could pick the partner that is for you in that moment of your life, And that doesn't mean that for chapter 20, they have to still be there. And that's when these conversations happen about separation and divorce and cordial matters. Because I feel like, again, as long as you have two emotionally available, mature individuals that can talk about growing and changing as individuals and within the relationship, you are able to understand that maybe what you thought you needed 10 years ago is not really the case, or is this solvable, right? That's why when one of the divorce things is irreconcilable, what is it?
Irreconcilable agreement. That's how I got divorced. Wait,
what is it called?
Wait.
I forgot. But yeah, so
most common one.
yeah, the one everyone uses. Like when you really think about it, not everyone takes that like literally. It's like truly we cannot repair this. Like we've already tried to repair it. We've trialed and errored a couple times. We have been open to trying different things. We have talked about different things, but irreconcilable. We couldn't come to an agreement any longer. And she's out here researching.
I can't even remember.
I think it's irreconcilable differences.
I think that's what it is, something like that. But what I thought about you was that you said, I just thought about something because one of my boys was talking to me about this, and he told me, me and my wife are going through therapy through, they're going through some stuff, and he's like, me and my wife are going through therapy right now, and I think what we're finding out is, what if we realize that we're just not compatible in therapy? And I'm like, damn, a wedding and 2 kids later?
Yeah, but let
me
me
figure that out before that investment.
No misconception about therapy.
Down.
Do not go to therapy when you are in crisis, please, because therapy takes time. And we're not going to figure out the 10 years of your marriage in 6 sessions, honey. It's not happening. Bro, sis, we're not doing it. We have to go back, lay out all your habits,
And then move forward.
and then even that in itself of just figuring out what y'all been doing for the past 10 years is a whole like 6 months, 8 months, even more. So it's like, y'all try to get therapy for a fast solution. Therapy is not the thing to do fast. And we like fast results. So when we're mad at our partner, we'll break up. We're ready to walk out the door because that's fast. Or we'll go to the bar and get drunk because that's fast. Or let me spend his money because that's fast. But going to therapy is slow. It is truly you having 2 feet in the door ready to work, ready to take accountability, ready to make changes.
Okay, so here's the thing. I get it. I'm trying to be devil's advocate, right?
I hear you.
I get it.
I get half.
Going to work, but they're tired. People tired. They work, they go to work.
Because they should have gone to therapy year 1.
They work over there, they work over here. Now you want me to work on this too?
Yeah. That's why you chose that person.
I'd rather go get the person or fix it with
what relationship doesn't require constant work? Because I've been working with my mom since I was born, and I've been working on my friends since I had them. The friends that me and you have, because we're both very social people, but we've had that group of friends that have been in our life for more than 10 years. That requires work, right? So what relationship that's important to you doesn't require work, right?
So we're asking the overworked person to then go work again instead of just fulfilling this pleasurable act if it's something that they're missing.
I mean, that just comes down to if the other person is willing to try it, they'll try it. And if they're not, then they need to have a conversation of maybe this is no longer for us. I always talk about this one couple. This is the last thing I'm going to say, but I always talk about this one couple. There's a tool that I do with couples, which is a house. And we're talking about the values of the house. And we were talking about an ideal day in your life once you've accomplished a lot of these goals that you want to accomplish. One of the partners was a pilot, constantly traveling. The other partner was a stay-at-home parent. And this pilot envisioned an ideal day in his life, owning multiple properties in multiple countries, their kids getting homeschooled, and them traveling the world together as a family. This other partner envisioned a traditional white picket fence traditional family, because we've been moving around so long that I'm waiting for the day that we get to chill.
And he's here.
And when we looked at the papers, I'm like, have you guys ever talked about your future together? And they were like, their idea was that eventually one partner would budge and go with the other one's plan. They would sacrifice something that was non-negotiable to them because they loved their partner. That's where we go wrong. Because if you were aware of your non-negotiables from the beginning, I call it a life resume, this tool, this house tool. I call it your life resume because if you show this to your partner, they know exactly what you're about and what you're setting yourself up for. But you'd be surprised at how many conversations are not being had in the beginning. And then we're finding out 5 years later that we've stayed because of kids, because of marriage, because we want to make it work. And it's like, were you actually compatible? This is when I say love is not all. You can love somebody, and that doesn't mean
Could talk about that.
our lives make sense together. And that's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. Right? I'm just trying to say right here, we have a quote of, not every craving needs a new dish. Sometimes it needs a new conversation. Okay, metaphor. I see you. What are we really hungry for?
Oh, I want to fear. What I'm really hungry for is safety.
Mm.
You know, like I feel like I don't know. The last time I felt safe was when my dad was alive,
Mm.
and I haven't felt safe since. And
And maybe that's a non-negotiable for you because you've allowed it to be. You've allowed it to be a negotiable for a very long time.
Yeah, no, you know.
Topics we will be getting into.
But yeah, I think that's deep. Damn. So what we gonna tell the guy that's trying to get somebody to have sex with outside of his marriage?
He got to talk to his wife or his husband, whoever. We open for everything. But there, I think it just shows we have to be very careful of what we mean when we want to be open to something. Is it something that you're lacking within yourself that you're always going to feel is lacking, even if you have 20 partners? There's people that could never settle because they never feel that they found the right partner. But maybe the hole is within yourself and you haven't. And you are out here like tapando el hoyito, every single person, like you're just covering it up. And then it's not enough.
Pero también conversations like negotiables and non-negotiables aren't really had in the beginning. I don't even think you're mature enough to have that conversation in your 20s. Like, you know, so you're making such a big life commitment, like a marriage, like a happily ever after, when you don't even know in essence who you really are. So you choose this person based on who you are at that time in your life, and then one sometimes evolves ahead of the game than the other. And if you're not talking as you're going, then you get to the space and you're like, oh crap, now it doesn't make sense anymore. It no longer works. And that's hard. That's why I'm like, yo, doing. Sometimes my son tells me all the time, I want to be a young dad, and I'm like, be careful. Because who you are in your 20s, it's not going to be who you are when you're older. And what your life choices, and I'm not saying that young parents can't succeed. They, of course, go for them.
Right.
You know, but I do believe in this.
Right. 100%.
Spicy?
Well,
Spicy time? What do we call it?
Saucy. Let's get saucy. We've gotten very spicy. Lord. Okay. No, I think we opened up a lot of perspectives, and that's what we hope to do throughout these conversations.
And I hope that for the second season, we can perhaps bring people that actually tap into this kind of energy, because what works for people?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm very curious about what we talked about earlier. Is someone that is in an open relationship where they're getting the emotional satisfaction from another person, and they're with their life partner is the one just fulfilling them sexually. I'd be really interested to hear about that.
Have you ever wanted something in your relationship that felt too taboo to say out loud? And then if so, what stopped you?
I definitely feel so. We actually, Javi and I watched a show called Sex Loving Goop, and I've actually recommended it to like 1,000 people. But it is about reaching levels of satisfaction, not just through penetration.
Oh shit, okay.
So like reaching levels of satisfaction emotionally through energy. Like there was one where the partner was just like on some Reiki. Have you heard of Reiki healing?
No.
It's like through their energy waves, and if you put your hand close enough to someone's skin, they can actually feel the energetic waves. So they actually talked about anatomy, understanding that not everyone's genetical makeup is similar.
100%. I believe that.
And that people require different things. So I feel like watching that show honestly educated us to. I mean, I was already more of a liberal, open person, and so was hubby. But I feel like that show just allowed us to feel like, damn, we got options, babe. Like, we got options. Come on, give me the energy waves. Like, you know? So I feel like that was something, I feel like it's taboo because I feel like growing up, it's like, oh, you know, they need to be a certain length. They need to satisfy you a certain way. It's through penetration. It's through this. It's through that. And if they can't satisfy you there, then it's not good enough. But I'm just like, bro, there's so many. Yo, there is a world of options. That's why I said before, even thinking about a third person, bro, there's so many options to just open your mind to in your relationship. If both people are willing to be open. And I think that's where that did it for me.
I told
Sex, Love, and Goop. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but we watched it on Netflix.
I like that. That reminds me of one of my younger cousins. She kind of met somebody, started dating them, and they went to have intimacy, right? And he didn't know how to like go down on her the way that she felt fulfilled, right?
Oh God. Oh God. Something real spicy about to come out and I ain't ready.
And she's like, nah, because he was eating my kuka. He was just doing
Oh,
something
Lord.
at the time. Like, right? So she was like, I'm cutting him off. And I said, don't do that. I was like, because it's more to the relationship than that. And it's about understanding each other's bodies. What if he's not as experienced? What if he doesn't know what makes you do whatever your body needs to do?
Right.
Like, you know, everybody's different. I was like, don't take all the good. This man is all good, you know, like that's a learning thing too, like understanding each other. Like a lot of my female friends struggle with having sex as much as they used to because their age now has changed. Or maybe there was just never a sexual being in the beginning.
Wait, that comes to my question.
Oh.
You ready?
Go ahead.
What's one thing you wish people were more honest about when it comes to sex after age 35?
Oh, damn. She already said I'm older than 35. What if I was supposed to be 35?
Girl, first of all, the fact that you say you over 35 and you look like that should be a learning lesson. Eat your plátanos, people. Eat your tostones and your plátanos.
And that's all I heard from the question. Go back and she don't say my age.
What's one thing you wish people were more honest about when it comes to sex after 35?
Damn. Let's see. I never had no sexual issues with like my body.
Anatomy?
Yeah, my anatomy. But I will say that after 35 it does change for women. We do get more
energy.
Yeah, we get more
fatigue.
Some of us are tired.
Bones is brittle.
The bones are brittle. Well, our sexual stuff is more on.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. I think that's the biggest thing is that people get it twisted and they think that because your energy is lower, your bones are brittle, that doesn't mean I want it any less. That just means maybe we need modifications.
Sexually, we're more on. However, a woman's body is all is your hormone levels, right? So if your hormones are off, then you're not gonna your kuka's not gonna get wet the way it's supposed to. So then that stuff is not gonna flow, and then sex is whack and things like that. That's why I'm constantly telling women like, no, you gotta go to the doctor, make sure they've done your blood work and all that because that's fixable. You should be having like a great sex drive. Like you should be pleasing your man in that department. Like if everything else is flowing, right? As long as you.
Right. I think that goes to the whole recap of the episode of. Is your relationship allowed to grow and change in every aspects, in how your body feels and you getting older and you no longer feeling satisfied by what was satisfying you for so long and you needing a change and you needing to feel something different? Is the relationship allowed to grow and change? If the answer is yes, and there's always an opportunity to discuss, you're in a healthy enough relationship to at least explore something enough to see if it works.
Oh, girl. I hope not everybody's open like that, Pam.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're spreading the opportunity for people to know that it's not the end of the world just because you no longer feel that something is satisfactory. Are you actually doing the work to see if it's irreconcilable or not?
Oh, there's the word.
There's the word. Lord, we are past our time, but of course. So yes, any finishing thoughts on this?
I want to see the couple that's worse for.
We looking for you. If you are out there,
hit us up.
We want you for next season. All right.
Love you long time.
Yes. Thank you guys for always joining these conversations and for being with us in the spicy section.
Como que la cosa se puso caliente hoy. Nah, but for real, when it comes to love, pasión, and connection, what's really missing from your menu? Is it more kisses, más aventura, or maybe just a little more honesty? Whatever it is, just ask for it. Sin vergüenza, sin miedo, y con mucho sazón. Here's your assignment. Ask yourself and your partner, what's missing from your relationship? Is it intimacy, excitement, peace, or maybe it's something entirely different? Are you willing to share? Pues mándamelo. What would you like to add to the relationship menu? This is Soul y Sazón, where the flavor of the world blends with the stories of the heart. Keep showing up with soul and lots of flavor, honey. Love you. Long time.